Welcome to Dental Notebook. In our today's topic, we're going to read about pit and fissure sealant. So have you ever seen those tiny grooves in our teeth? Yes, over here. These grooves over here are called as pit and fissures, okay? These grooves are called pit and fissures. And these grooves generally tends to accumulate. They accumulate your food and bacteria, which leads to the cause of dental caries. Okay, therefore it becomes a necessity to prevent it with pit and fissure sealant. Okay, so here you can see the sealant is applied, which covers the pit and fissures, which further leads to the prevention of the accumulation of food and bacteria and thus prevent the dental caries. Now here coming to the definition. Now what does the definition state that? Definition says that pit and fissures sealant are the material. These are the material that is placed in the pit and fissure to prevent or arrest the development of dental caries. So sealant is applied to prevent or arrest the development of dental caries. Next, we are coming to the morphology of the tooth structure. So this is a morphology of the tooth where you can see the presence of pit and fissures. So these are the enamel folds, okay? These are the enamel folds. So over here you can see these structure over here, these are called as fissures. Okay, and these tiny grooves like structure over here, you can see these are the grooves like structure. These are called as pit. Okay, so here you can see occlusally what happened. Now we have applied a sealant to it. Now the surface have become shallow. This is your sealant. So it shallows the pit and fissure. Therefore, there is no more accumulations of the food and bacteria and the teeth is prevented from the dental caries. Okay, so here there is a morphology of a tooth structure. This is the anatomy of tooth. So see what happened over here. This is your enamel segment. This is your dentine segment. And this is your pulp. Now what happened over here? See, this is a groove-like structure. Now what happened? Sometimes there is a narrow shaft which is present in these grooves, which leads to its extensions towards the dentino-enamel junctions. So this is your dentino-enamel junctions. So when these pit and fissures extend to the dentino-enamel junctions, they can lead to sensation in tooth. And if there is accumulation of bacteria, they will cause dental caries and further they will infect your pulp. They are going to infect your pulp. Okay, so the pulp get infected over here. Now next we are coming to the types of pit and fissure sealants. So they are classified into 5 types. Okay, so here we are going to read about types of pit and fissures. So they are classified into 5 types. The first is your U type. The second one is your V type. The third is your I type. Fourth is your IK type. And the fifth one is your inverted Y type. Okay, now here I am drawing, suppose this is a tooth structure. Okay, this is a tooth structure. So this is your U type. Now over here, this is your V type. Now over here, this is your I type. Now here, the surface here is your IK type. And this one is your inverted Y type. Okay, now when you will see the V and Y type, you will see that these are shallow, these are self-cleansing and are caries resistant. Therefore, it does not require any kind of treatment. So no treatment needed. Okay, now here is the I type. Here it is again a combination of IK type, and this is a Y type. So all these three types of teeth, you can see that the pit and fissures are deep and narrow. They are prone to caries, and therefore they require the treatment. So pit and fissure sealants must be applied in these kind of pit and fissures. Okay. Now we are going to read about types of pit and fissure sealant. So they have been classified into three types. First, on the basis of curing method. Second, on the basis of filler. And third, on the basis of your color. Okay. So first we will read about on the basis of curing method. First generation, second generation, third generations, and your fourth generation. So first generations, the polymerizations occur at 350 nanometer wavelength. So 350 nanometer wavelength occur, and light required, and here generally curing occur with the help of polymerization. Okay. In the second generations, the curing occur by self. So it is a self-curing method, and it is chemically cured. Okay, and the third generation, it require your visible light. Okay, and it require your 430 to 490 nanometer of wavelength. And the fourth generation, it has fluoride benefit. Okay, so this was on the basis of curing method. First, cure with the help of your polymerization at 350 nanometer wavelength. The second is self-curing, which is cured chemically. The fourth is required a visible light. It required 430 to 490 nanometer wavelength, and the fourth generation have your fluorides benefit. Okay, now we are coming, next is your second one is on the basis of filler. On the basis of filler. So here it is been divided into two groups. First is your unfilled, and second is your semi-filled. Okay, now unfilled has a better flow. This is having a better flow, so it will easily go into your fissures and grooves, and this is strong and resilient to wear. Okay, now coming third one. So third one is on the basis of color. On the basis of color. So how it has been classified on the basis of color? It has been classified here again into four types. The first is your tinted. The second is your clear. The third is your opaque. And the fourth is your pink. Okay, now here the tinted one is because for easy identification. The second one is difficult to detect, but the benefit is that it is aesthetic. Okay, the third one is opaque. This is again for easy identification, and the pink one is for fluoride release. Okay. Now, what are the materials which are used in sealant? The first material which is used is your resin. So it is resin based. Second is your glass ionomer cement. The third is your compomers. And the fourth is your fluoride containing sealant. Now coming to the indications and contraindications. So pit and fissures are generally been advised in a sound pit and fissure. If sound pit and fissure is present, then only sealant should be applied. In deep and narrow pit and fissure, and also in a recently erupted teeth. Deep and narrow is for your I type, then your IK type, and inverted Y type. Now contraindication, it is contraindicated in your broad pit and fissure, like your V and U type. It doesn't require any kind of treatment. Again, if caries is present, any kind of proximal lesions are present, and if tooth are caries free for more than 4 years, then also no need to put pit and fissure sealants. Now coming to the procedure, how to apply the pit and fissures. So before starting any kind of dental treatment, you need a basic cleaning and polishing. So here you will do the cleaning and polishing of the tooth surface. This is your first step. Okay. Then you have to go on for tooth preparation by using burr and excavating instrument. Then you have to go for the etching, acid etching of tooth. It is done with 30 to 50% of orthophosphoric acid for 30 to 60 seconds. Okay. Next, you have to rinse the tooth. You have to give proper isolation. Okay. So that you have to prevent the tooth from saliva. Then you have to apply the sealant. You have to place the sealant. Okay. Then evaluate the sealant. Then you have to do curing. That is generally a light curing. Okay. Then you have to evaluate the occlusion. That is, you have to check the occlusion. And you have to recall patient. For periodic maintenance. That's it. So here it is a diagrammatic representations where it has been shown that after cleaning and polishing, there is a kind of a tooth preparation over here. Then there is a placement of etchant. Then there's a cleaning and drying of the tooth surface. Then after proper isolations, the sealant is applied over here. And then light curing is done. And then proper occlusal check is done. And everything is completed after it. Now we are going to read about the preventive resin restoration. So here it is a kind of a therapeutic restoration. So it is done to prevent caries in susceptible pit and fissure. Okay, so this is done by natural extension of the occlusal sealant. Okay, so here the classification has been given by Simonson in 1978, where he had classified this into 3 groups. Okay, he have classified it into the 3 categories. So they are type A, type B, and type C. Okay, so I'm going to show you a diagrammatical representation over here. Suppose these are the tooth structure in all the 3 cases. This is your dentine structure. Okay. Now, what happened over here? The type A is limited to enamel and no anesthesia is required. Okay, this is your enamel. It is limited to the enamel structures only. In the type B, it is extended up to the dentine. This is extended up to the dentine. Therefore, no anesthesia is required in this case as well. The type C is the involvement of dentine. There is the involvement of dentine. So there is a need of local anesthesia while preparation. So I'm just drawing a pulp over here. So you can identify this as a pulp structure. This is your dentine and this is your enamel. So this was your preventive resin restoration. I hope you understand this lecture. Thank you.